Turn on your volume. Welcome to Evision Live with Dr. Alexandra Kleeberg
and Dietrich Busaka. Welcome to your healthy, happy, fulfilled life.
Welcome to episode 19. And today we continue with the archetype of childhood. We had already been talking last time on the archetype of childhood, and today, last time we were talking about authenticity. Today it's about emotions. Or what are all these emotions about, and how can you deal with these emotions? What are emotions? How can you deal with them? And also how to live them. These are our topics for today.
Yes, and there's a YouTube video and it's called exactly like that, how to deal with all the emotions. We put the link down there. It's on my YouTube channel.
Yes, so stay to the end and you get the link. Thank you for watching and being with us. We had this wonderful interview last night with Owen on Be Live TV. Mm-hmm. I think we have maybe new people watching us today, so we will a little bit more have to tell about your approach and so on. So authenticity. Yes, we have been talking authenticity. So what is the link between authenticity and emotions?
Oh, last time we talked about authenticity and that it's part of the archetype of childhood. When you're a little child, you're very, very, very authentic. Once you get educated, you are sort of decentered.
Losing all this, yes.
Yes, and you learn how to build up a facade or a mask or play roles. And this is not like role playing as a child, but it's role playing for survival in this society. And when I talk about authenticity, I mean it's an authentic emotional expression. Mm-hmm. Authenticity doesn't mean I'm telling the truth. It means I'm showing my emotional truth.
Oh, okay.
So last time I said when some people say, oh, I told this boy very honestly that he is an idiot or something like that. That's not authentic. Mm-hmm. It's a projection psychologically, and it's the opposite of authenticity. Mm-hmm. Authenticity would be if you say, oh, I feel scared, I'm angry, I'm mad, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So what is authentic in us is emotions. Mm-hmm. And the gurus of self-healing for me are the little children or the babies. Mm-hmm. It's not
we want to get back to our inner child.
Yes,
so important.
Yes. And to this inner child before it gets educated or it gets guided not to be itself anymore. If you have a baby, and I have 3 children and now 2 grandchildren, and if you watch them, they express their emotions in an authentic way. Mm-hmm. When they feel scared, they look scared or they scream. When they're angry, they yell or shout. When they are sad, they cry. Mm-hmm. And there are 5 to 7 basic emotions.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, what is an
joy,
emotion?
Joy, surprise, disgust, anger, love, fear. Mm-hmm. And is that all? Love?
You had it, yes, already.
Okay, so, and these are the same in whatever culture you are around the globe. Mm-hmm. Professor Ekman researched that very, very many years ago, and some say, oh, there are 5 basic emotions, some say 7, some say a little bit more. But there are a lot of feelings, which we call feelings, which are not basic emotions, like guilt feelings or shame feelings or inferior feelings.
But these are then feelings, they're not necessarily emotions, or...
Yes, in English it's feeling, it's you really have to dive deep to differentiate emotion from feelings. There are theories that put them both together, and there's theories they think they are different. Emotion comes from Latin, and it means emovere, which means to move out.
To move out.
So it's an arousal inside which wants to move out.
Okay.
So you get released and relief.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when you're angry, you shut down the system, or when you're angry, maybe even when you're surprised, you first tension up, you shut up the system, and then there is an arousal inside, and this wants to move out, and then you're relaxed again. Actually, this is a rhythm of a few minutes. But we live in a culture where we suppress it and where we don't talk about our emotions, at least not in Germany.
And then we cut the tension stays inside, and this is what...
And we swallow up our anger or our fear or whatever.
And then this causes finally illness, because you're swallowing it and you're closing. We had always closing is a very, I learned these tensions, it's calling illness, and only if you open up and let all these things out, you can...
The body starts to heal. It's one of the first steps. And psychoanalysis has said that for 100 years, that a lot of those psychosomatic sicknesses are due to suppressed emotions. And psychosomatic research proves that in a way too. And you know, I'm from a Prussian heritage, and it was not allowed to show emotions. It was not allowed to show anger. It was not allowed to show tears, and not too much joy. And love is shameful. If you say you love somebody, you shouldn't do that. It's not good. It's a shame. So this was really hard to learn for me. To show emotions.
Yeah, this was also, shame is also a feeling, or I don't know if it's an emotion, yes, maybe, but it's something what you say, it's educated, it's not natural.
I think there is a discussion. Some say it's natural. I think we have learned it. We have learned it by the churches. We have learned it by norms. We have learned it by teachers, and I don't think it's an innate feeling. I say, what is innate? My dog should have it as well, and I've never seen that the dog is full of shame. I see him angry, I see him withdrawing. Well, a dog can't cry, yes, but he can bark, and he can show his love. And he can show disgust, but I've never seen him with feelings of shame. So I don't know.
And there are many other feelings where you say it's they're educated rather than...
Yes. And for self-healing, one of the first steps is to open up and to let go of the emotions which we have suppressed. Probably
and these basic emotions.
The basic emotions. Yeah. And in the educated emotions, there are also basic emotions inside. So in the shame and guilt feelings, there is anger, there is sadness, there is maybe fear. So often these feelings we have by education, they have basic emotions inside.
They're covering these basic emotions,
yes,
and so it would be good to go back and to get. Yes. But how can you get back to these basic emotions?
Some people I have, they don't really feel their emotions.
Yeah,
that's when I'm telling him, there are these 5 to 7 basic emotions, and then there are educated feelings. And they just look at the list, and when they feel something doesn't feel right, maybe they have stomach ache, and they feel stomach ache and not emotion. And I say, what emotion could that be? If you have this list, could be anger, could be a little bit of fear, and then they get ideas of that. Okay. Or they can talk to the symptom. They can talk to the stomach. What are you feeling? And maybe the stomach says, I'm angry, or I'm fearful, or whatever.
Okay.
So there are different ways how people get to know on which emotions they have suppressed over the lifetime. And Jung said, once you let out the emotions for the first time, they're just like they are uncivilized. That's, I think, it's his expression.
Okay.
They're very, very uncivilized.
Well, uncivilized, yes.
Uncivilized.
But I can imagine that some of these emotions, especially if you anger or whatever, if you really get them
really
go
high
out
waves
without any control,
Yes.
it
If
might
you
be
have-
dangerous, or
Yes.
at least you might hurt other people.
Yes, so I give them the image. Emotions are maybe like a tiger or a lion, which you have put into a cage for very, very many years. And once you open up the cage, it roars out. It's very, very wild. And so you have to let him out on a free place, and then you widen this place so it gets used to freedom again. And it's the same with emotions. You maybe for the first time they really rise up like a volcano, and then after a month or after 2 months they're just like a little light or something like that. So you really have to tame them. But the first part is to set them free.
Yeah.
And you have to set them free. I write this in my new book, Ethics for a New World, in a social, respectful way.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy, because when they come up, they start to blame people.
Yeah,
or things
sure.
or
That's
situations.
actually, no, yes. You are guilty, you're responsible, it's
Yes.
your fault, it's
Yes.
you hurt me.
So I give the advice that once the emotions come up, the best thing is not to talk at all. Because when I'm really, really angry, what comes out of my mouth is not very nice. And maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, I say, excuse me, I didn't want to say that. It comes from a very archaic part of the brain. It's the survival brain. Wow! And not the frontal cortex, where we think and where we produce nice words. So if you're in a relationship and you are very, very angry, don't blame the other partner. Just roar or scream. That, I think, is the safest.
But don't scream, yell at your wife or at your husband. But scream, yell more or less for
Just
yourself.
let it
or
out.
let it go.
Let it out.
Ah!
Yes.
I don't mean you, just me who is screaming.
Yes, for example. If you want to say something, just say I. I'm angry, I'm a volcano, I'm a fire wind or whatever. And just detach it from the other person, because it's like there's a switch in you which just opened up the old program you have. And the other one is just an inspiration for the anger, but it's not the real cause of it. So some even say, oh, thank you that you inspired my anger.
Well, but this is
Thank
very
you that you
controlled.
inspired my tiger or whatever. So this could be the nice version. But if you
This is a very tame
if you
tiger.
want a safe version, just scream and yell until the emotion is out, and then you talk.
Or maybe then look for a place where nobody watches you, and
Yes, you probably can do that wherever you are on this world outside. So good, maybe in the forest. I have a woman in my group. She is screaming underwater. She is diving every day. She says, this is great. I've never done it. I don't know how it works. She
diving
says
is
it
great,
works.
but screaming underwater is
Yes.
something new to me, yes.
We live at a railway path from
Okay.
Lindau to Munich,
Yes.
and there is a very fast train, and some of the people of my groups, they go to the path, and when the train comes they scream and yell.
So
Maybe
nobody
you
hears
can
them.
go there with your partner. What?
So nobody hears them.
So nobody hears them. Some really like to yell in the car. And
And there's one favorite, your favorite place that you find in every house.
yes,
even
but
sometimes several
this is
times.
for loud screaming.
Okay.
If you have fear, you rather shake. Maybe you scream a little, but you rather shake. If you're sad, you cry.
Yes.
And if you can't do it in a social, respectful way, or if you can't do it where you are, then there is one room in every house. It's an exercise room for everything, and that's the toilet. So if you are in this situation on your working place or in a restaurant or whatever, you say, oh, I have to go to the toilet. And I have people who just do this raging exercise just by doing it without words. They fight and they kick, and some are just like this in front of the mirror, until this emotional arousal moves out of you, and then the frontal cortex starts to think again, there was this discussion up there, what is the best answer for me? And then I go back to the archetype of awakening to get conscious about what just happened and to find creative solutions for that. And if you sit in the bus and there is no toilet, or in the plane or in the train, then you can do this exercise with closed eyes and just imagine it. You imagine, you scream, you shout, you roar, you thunder, you whatever. And you imagine, you let it out. And we know that this imagination helps as well. It might not be as sufficient as the other one, but it's maybe 60% or 70% of it. And just go with the fantasies. Every detective story works with these fantasies of how to let out anger. So this is very, very important, that you take over responsibility for your feelings, for your emotions. If you speak I sentences. I am a volcano. I am fearful. I am sad. I am upset. And better do it without words and express it with your whole body so the emotion comes out. It's a survival emotion because we feel threatened in a way. And then come back to the parasympathetic mood and relax and come back to the archetype of awakening and find solutions for this discussion or for this challenge. But it's very, very important first to come back to the authenticity of a child, not to suppress emotions, but to let them out in a socially respectful way.
Great. And well, there are much more exercises, I think, in your video on emotions that we will have.
How to deal with all the emotions, I think it's called. There are, I think, about 20-30 exercises in my new book, 9 Steps into the Wealth of Health.
Okay, yes.
And maybe I will make a blueprint on exercises to release emotions within the next 2 or 3 months, so that I can promise.
Great, so and this you'll find then on our membership site.
Yes. Exactly, or on the Facebook group Self-Healing and Potential Development.
Exactly, there you can post it also.
So
exactly.
In the meantime, maybe you just write down what emotions you like to suppress and find out ways to let them out. Maybe you suppress emotions at your business, and then you have a self-advice, go to the toilet and do the screaming and yelling exercise without words. Or you say, I have a lot of anger in my relationship and I go into the forest, I scream and yell, and on the way back I come into the archetype of awakening again and see what I want to say or I want to offer. So just find ways, write them down as a structure, as your structure, how to deal with all the emotions, and then practice it. And we would like if you write down some creative examples on how to express emotions in a socially respectful way down there.
Yeah. And we just start for the moment with expressing emotions, because then otherwise we can still go further, I suppose, with forgiving and thanking and so on. But I think we start just first of all with just letting out all these emotions and doing this. I think this is the first important step.
And when the body comes back into harmony, then there's time for thankfulness or for forgiveness or for whatever.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. So we're looking forward to your comments below. So thank you so much for watching, and hope this was valuable for you. Please leave your takeaways below, and thank you so much. Seeing you again next Tuesday at the same time.
Open your heart and start.